This is from a field organizer that worked for Joe Biden's campaign. Here we go. Today's Supreme Court decision is a direct attack on black people. No black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system.
Jeez, that's about the most racist thing I've ever heard.
Wow, we would have never believed this. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google. Go out there and listen to us. So we're excited about it. We're glad you're excited about it too. Okay, hey, glad to have you. Relevant Rants. Mike and
I got that right.
Mike, I've been getting it right for quite a while now.
Good job. Proud of you. Proud of you, Tom.
If I say the
wrong one,
I'll be jinxing it.
It'll mess you up, right?
Yeah, Relevant Rants. And we're going to rant today because we just had a hot thing come in off the press.
We had a hot thing, but there's like multiple hot things happening today. Like Johnny and I were talking about that this morning.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's crazy. So the Michigan House passes bill making wrong pronouns a felony and finable up to $10,000.
You know, I missed that the first read through. So I saw finable up to $10,000. Okay, well, that's a big deal, but it's a felony. Wait. So what you're telling me is it's a felony not to lie. So you're telling me I have to lie.
What they're saying under the new bill, intimidating an individual with wrong pronouns can result in prison time or $10,000 fine. Prison time. What the heck? Okay, Mike. So do we need to call Scott Winkler? Because if our show gets broadcast in Michigan, are we going to go?
Well, we're not in Michigan, and I have no plans on going there anytime soon.
You know, I think probably some of the stuff we're going to rant about today is going to be relevant to this.
It is, right?
We have an un-American president.
Right.
Joe Biden, are you even an American? Joe Biden, are you even awake today?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good question.
Did he wake up?
I don't think he wakes up.
It's only noon, so he might be up by now.
I think the most literate conversation he ever has is with Fetterman.
Fetterwoman?
They think the same. Like Beavis and Butthead.
You remember that? Fetterwoman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they communicate telepathically. Oh my god.
Kind of like dogs.
Oh my god.
They also sniff each other's butts.
We could go to prison for that, Mike.
He's the one who said Fetterwoman.
I wonder what Joe Biden's pronoun is.
Dumbass.
So, California on the map. Wow. We just heard a video with the U.S. Labor Secretary, who used to be the previous Californian. She doesn't know a lot, Mike.
Well, either that or she just doesn't want to admit to it.
You know what I got to understand is, do they get in college? Did they get in college by merit, or what? How did they get their degrees and stuff? She doesn't understand basic economics, right?
Or she doesn't want to admit to basic economics.
No, I mean, gosh, hello, Vanity Fair. They got an article this week. Can anyone fix California? Well, can the dictator of California fix California?
Oh, certainly not.
Newsom wants to be the dictator of America.
But you know, the thing is, can anyone fix California? Actually, it wouldn't be that difficult if we got someone decent into the governorship. But with all of the horrible one-sided leftist politics, and it's just going downhill. Hannity talked to Newsom the other day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, UCLA says we're doing great." Yeah, how much did you pay them to say that?
Well, they have to, otherwise they get their federal money or their state money withdrawn.
Right. Well, and then all the students that come there from other states too, right?
Yeah. So here we go. 3 of California's cities named among the worst run cities in U.S.
Only 3?
3. I mean, but I mean, we're getting the big ones. San Francisco, this city ranks number 149 best run city in America.
Very last on the list.
150, yeah.
No, it says very last on the list, so I think it was 149 out of 149.
Isn't it funny that you have a way to spin this?
Right.
And so 2 other California cities are towards the end of the list also, Oakland and Riverside. Hey, Riverside, way to hold up the southern end of the state.
And we're keeping it together, right? And they're just over the hill from us.
I know. And I used to go down to Riverside a lot because we had a citrus operation down there. So hey, there's a funny signs as you leaving California. It says, you are now leaving California. Welcome back to the United States of America.
Right.
Well, China-fornia, when is it going to be there? So, yeah, there again, we have this little debate here going on between the, yeah, we can play it.
Do you happen to know which state has the highest real poverty rate in the country?
I don't know that, sir.
It actually happens
Or
to
you
be
don't want to
California.
admit to it?
And do you happen to know, according to a recent report from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, where California ranks when it came to net earnings growth this last year?
I plead the fifth.
I don't know that off the top of my head.
California was
What does she
50th
know?
out of 50. So if our goals are to reduce unemployment, reduce poverty, and to increase wages, is California really the best model, given that it is the absolute worst in the country of the 50 states by all of these measures?
Again, Congressman, I think that there are lots of measures for
Now she knows something.
Right.
For how
Well,
well
she
an
thinks
economy is
something at
doing.
least. There's some measures.
My understanding, and I
UCLA
haven't
has
worked
some
in California now for 2 years, but is that by some measures, including recovery from the pandemic, including decrease in poverty over the
Wrong.
last few years, recovering since the pandemic, that California
Little tongue-tied there.
has
Okay, I just want to
Exceeded.
reiterate, though, these were the very measures that you yourself cited in your own testimony. In your state of California, where you led the Labor Department, is doing the worst in the country.
Don't you love it when they just lie?
Right. She's like, well, can we just like say whatever that, well, now Michigan's making it illegal not to lie, so
I guess so.
maybe she
but-
should move there. Should
Hey,
be protected.
But man, this is one that I think is very interesting because you got to go back. I mean, the Bible says that if you're faithful in small things, you get more. But if you're unfaithful, you probably shouldn't get more. But we have a video of Biden not sure what he thinks about marriage between man and a woman, or man and a man, or woman and a woman. So but we're just going to give you an eye glimpse of our president, then the vice president, and the ex-president Obama.
And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that.
A Weekend TV interview, Vice President Biden declared he's absolutely comfortable with men marrying men and women marrying women.
At a certain point, I've just concluded that for me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
So there again, Mike, can you trust people that say one thing when it's appropriate to say one thing? To say you're against gay marriage. I mean, there's a constitutional, he said it. He says, don't worry about it because just man and a woman. And then you keep changing your mind. And then Obama comes out to the point where he says it's okay with it. And I'm not saying, you can't be okay with same-sex marriage, because the way I believe, Mike, and you can argue with me, I mean, if somebody gets over 18, they got to be outside the minor era. If you're going to make a decision and you want to do whatever you want, do it. I mean, it's your life to live. You want to screw it up, screw it up.
Well, I think you're institutionalizing the disintegration of values and
I don't-
morality in
well, you
America.
are.
So I don't agree with that, Tom.
Well, I know, but I mean, we're living in America and people can make decisions.
Oh, sure, they
to
can
do
make
that.
decisions, but I don't have to agree with your
No, you don't-
decisions.
you don't-
They might want to force me to agree with them.
I'm not saying it, but I'm saying if it's okay through a state or legislature, hey, have at it, because it's basically you look at your statistics, they don't work out. So
There was Michael Knowles. I was listening to his podcast this morning.
Love Michael
He was,
Knowles.
he
Love
was
the
talking about
Daily Wire guys.
the LGBTQ and the transing of kids and all that stuff that's been a hot topic in America, and the correlation of the suicide rates amongst that population
It's
being so
terrible.
high and growing. And they're saying, oh, well, it's a good thing that we encourage those things. And it's not a good thing because of many reasons. It's not helping those individuals. It's harming those individuals. But not only is it not helping those individuals and harming those individuals, it's causing more disintegration and breakdown of families and breakdown of morals. But, frankly, it's all about money, and that's what these people are
Wasn't
after.
there a song looking for love in all the wrong places?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there again, I mean, you know, and you and I believe that Christ is the answer, because I do believe, because hey, Tommy was screwed up for 34 years, and it wasn't until I found out how to get unscrewed up, basically giving my life to a God that loves me, but loves me so much he isn't wanting me to stay the way I was.
Yeah, well, it goes back to, and I've talked about this before, Tom, and we've had conversations about this. God is both truth and love, right?
Yes.
And so you cannot love someone and simultaneously lie to them,
Yes.
as Michigan tries to make you.
Yes.
But if you're going to love them, you have to tell them the truth, because the truth will set you free. The truth is harming, or the absence of the truth is harming these individuals, it's harming our society, it's harming our culture, and it's harming our children.
Well, here we have Biden not sure what an American is. You got to be kidding me, Mr. President.
Well, he's probably not sure what a Biden is either.
He doesn't understand what a good kid is, that's for sure.
Right.
I mean, well, he says he's proud of his son, so.
None of you can define for me what an American is. Can't define it based on religion, ethnicity, race, culture.
So we got Danny Jimenez coming in. Danny has a lot to say about this, and we want to bring on Danny.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure out why America's so special. I'm just playing, guys. I know exactly why America's so special and so great, and which is why I want to preserve it and keep it and make it better. As you guys can tell from what came out of Joe Biden's mouth, he doesn't think America is special, right? Why? Because we don't have, one, ethnic group. We don't have one race. We don't have one religion. We have one culture. He kind of wants to mimic something that happened in the 1940s in Germany by a guy named Adolf Hitler. He wants to mimic that. That's what he thinks a special country is. I think a great country is something that is everybody's one race, one ethnicity, one culture, one religion. No, that's not how it is, and that's not how it should be. There's a reason why America is great, and it's because it's diverse, right? I'm going to read you something from a great historian named Philip Gleason. Okay, this was written in The American Identity and Americanization, published in the Harvard Encyclopedia of American Ethnic Groups. Okay, he says this: to be or to become an American, a person did not have to be any particular national, linguistic, religious, or ethnic background. All he had to do was commit himself to the political ideology centered on the abstract ideals of liberty, equality, and republicanism. Thus, the universalist ideological character of American nationality meant that it was open to anyone who willed to be an American, right? Our seal, right? Our great seal on the United States is E pluribus unum, right? It means from many, one, right? So this suggests what? That there should be a coexistence of many in one under a unified citizenship based on shared ideals, right? Stay strong, guys. Keep the fight.
So here we got a young man, first college graduate from immigrants.
Yeah.
and
Immigrant family.
And he could tell you what an American is. Joe Biden, you got to, hire some people that can help you out with this one. I mean, I don't know what to tell you on this one.
I bet you can tell you what a Chinese person is.
Yeah.
He's like, they're the people that pay me?
He tells people, if you don't vote for him, you're not black. And I know a lot of black people that didn't vote for him.
Yeah.
So what does that make them?
Not black?
Basically, this country is unified under the Bill of Rights and our Constitution. But that's the thing that what bothers me about Joe Biden is he's been in office two years. I found out more about him, and he is just a corrupt politician, and he's a liar. He just keeps changing his mind based on whatever he thinks.
Whatever's convenient at the moment.
Yeah, there again, what did Abraham Lincoln say? And I may get this wrong, but he says you can please some of the people some of the time. You can't please all the people all the time. He basically makes stuff up as he goes.
Minute by minute?
I know, yeah. I get it. It's just crazy. As you go forward, Joe Biden doesn't have the foggiest. He thinks his economics have some kind of merit to where America is. But I think he is out of touch. And so everybody's given him a new term. It's called Bidenomics. I mean, he thinks this is like a big deal. I mean,
Is that like a trickle down from the Gavinomics?
I don't know. It makes it hard to believe anything the guy says because he's not in tune with reality. He walked into a president's home.
So I came into office determined to change the economic direction of this country.
He's done that.
To move from trickle-down economics, what everyone on Wall Street Journal and Financial Times began to call Bidenomics. I didn't come up with the name. I really did.
Yeah, but they're blaming it on you.
But they're the ones that used it first. But I think it's a plan that I'm happy to call Bidenomics.
Really? do you understand what that is?
He's going down with that shit.
Bidenomics is working. Bidenomics is about the future. Bidenomics
sure
is
as hell
another way of
hope not.
saying restore the American dream.
He said he's
Because it
going
worked
on
before.
to be American.
Well,
It's really
he's
what
getting
we've
confused with the
always
Chinese
worked
dream.
best at in this country. Investing in America. Investing in Americans. Because when we invest in our people, we strengthen the middle class. We see the economy grow. That benefits all Americans.
Well, that
That's
part's
the
true. If
American
the economy grows, it benefits all Americans.
Well,
But
I
you had
believe
nothing to
every
do with
American
that.
He had nothing to do with it.
willing to work hard should be
He
able
also
to get
only
a job
show a
no
little bit
matter
of the
where
crowd
they
because there's
are.
nobody there.
Right.
The heartland, in
Well, they
small
showed all
towns,
20 of the
in every
people that
part
were
of this
there.
country to raise their kids on
And
a
19
good
of them
paycheck
were
and
his,
keep their roots where
entourage.
They grew up. That's Bidenomics. I think the economic philosophy is not going to restore the American dream that we have now, that philosophy, but there's new and will.
Well, that's true.
It's going to help, and I think it's going to help lessen the divisions in this country by bringing us back together.
Oh, sure it will, buddy.
It makes it awful hard to demagogue something
You're
when it's working.
such a...
Isn't he primarily for division?
That's all he
That's part
promotes.
of what he doesn't understand about America.
How many... he tells us that all Republicans are bad.
Yeah.
Mike, you're not a bad guy.
No, I don't think so.
So apparently Biden hasn't got the FYI that Walgreens is closing 150 stores. And it says everyone should worry. So
Yeah.
maybe he didn't get up early enough to read some of the news. It says the pharmacy change is cutting costs as the economy weakens. Holy guacamole, June 28, 2023 at 8:26 p.m. Eastern time. Closing stores is a fact of life for retailers, but some closings should worry consumers and investors more than others. You know, Walgreens is closing because they've seen the market changing. Trends that have consumers prioritizing value in responses to a more uncertain and challenging economic future. CEO Roz Brewer told analysts during a conference call, weaker consumer demands. Of course, all retailers have been saying something like that. Not to Joe Biden.
Right.
The general
He
consensus,
thinks it's getting better.
the general consensus is that consumers are buying less discretionary merchandise like apparel, electronics, and home goods. That's why retailers like Target, Best Buy Incorporated, and Macy's Inc. are facing some tough challenges for the rest of the year. So Biden didn't get this, FYI.
Well, when you can barely afford groceries, you're not gonna go out and buy a new big screen.
He's saying that is going to be the future for Americans, but he can't define Americans.
Right. It's
Does this guy even know what planet he's on in the morning?
the future for America is getting better, according to Biden and his own delusions.
Oh my
It's
God.
getting better for Biden with the money coming from China and elsewhere and lining his pocket and Hunter's pocket and everyone else's in their family.
You know, the Supreme Court yesterday stopped affirmative action.
Supreme Court's been making some big moves.
Yeah, for colleges, and now colleges are going to have to look for a different way. So as the colleges were sued, they said that some of these things that these two colleges were sued for was determining admittance based on a personality test, and you have to guess, Mike, what Asians and whites got. Did they get a good score or a poor score?
They lowered theirs.
Yeah, they got a low, and everybody else, all the other races got great scores. There's I forgot who said it, but to stop discrimination on race, stop all discrimination on race.
Right. Not just it's okay if they're white or Asian, we can discriminate them. Everybody else get favored, and you're not balancing anything. You're skewing it in a different direction.
We have a racist in the White House, Joe Biden.
Incredible racist.
You know what he tells.
And what's crazy is people don't understand like where he came from. But if you look and look into all of his associations and several things that he in fact even said, even as much as on TV and in chambers.
All the fake news, ABC, NBC, CNN. What's the other one?
MSNBC?
CBS, I don't know. I'm just saying, they don't say anything about his old affiliations with people that were very racist. They don't even talk about it, but does that mean it's not true?
No.
I mean, he won't talk about his party starting the KKK.
Right.
Being part of the Civil War, moving the southern states because the Democratic Party back then wanted slavery.
Pro-slavery party, yeah.
Yeah, when they're canceling things, think about canceling the guy in the White House.
There
right?
you go. That'd be a good one.
Hey, we're getting hardcore here, and you may not like what we have to say, but I know Danny has something to say about affirmative action.
Hello, everybody. Today is an absolute monumental day here in America as the Supreme Court and Justice Clarence Thomas have ruled it unconstitutional for colleges and universities to grant admission based on race. Now, I don't know how we got here, guys. I don't know how racism and discrimination were just so accepted in our cultures, especially by the institutions of higher learning. I don't know how we got here, but you guys ought to be ashamed of yourself. And students, you ought to be disrespected. Imagine getting somewhere based on the color of your skin and not your grades, right? And not merit, right? Imagine. That's racism, guys. That's discrimination. You should get somewhere because you worked hard and because you deserve it, right? And there are over 5,000 universities in the United States. There are over 1,100 community colleges, not to mention all the online routes that are available, right, to get your degree, okay? If you don't go to college, that's on you. That's your fault. Work harder. That's it, right? And I've seen some pretty disgusting tweets today coming from the left about this ruling. And here's one of them. This is from a field organizer that worked for Joe Biden's campaign. Here we go. Today's Supreme Court decision is a direct attack on black people. No black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system.
Jeez, that's
now,
not the most racist
I'm talking
thing
to
I've
people
ever
of
heard.
color now. Are you guys going to accept this? This is what the left thinks of you. It thinks of you as a charity case. They think of you as this disability, right? And I know you're not. Black people, Mexicans, Indian, Asian, they can do whatever they want. Anybody can do whatever they want, especially in America. This is the home of the free, land of the brave. One of the most diverse countries in the world. You can do whatever the heck you want. All it takes is a little bit of hard work, okay? Stay safe, guys.
This is coming from Danny, who is a minority himself and has many minority friends, as do you and I.
His best friends are two young men, which are stand-up guys. Both graduated from college.
Right.
One Texas Tech, and the other one Cal State Bakersfield.
And probably great athletes too.
They're great athletes, and they're all about the American dream.
Right.
Because
they didn't get further because of affirmative action, and neither did Danny. They got further based on merit because of their athletic accomplishments as well as their scholastic accomplishments.
My son-in-law, I'll brag on him because he spent 5 years at Fresno State becoming a mechanical engineer, working very hard. He'd bring his homework home, and I was like, "What? I'm not."
You couldn't help him on that one.
No, hey, I'm not a slouch on this stuff, but wow, and so I'm just saying, if you want it, go after it.
Yeah.
Get it. No one's gonna, and I think that's.
But they've been preaching at us about institutionalized racism for how many years?
Oh my
gosh! We've finally struck down the actual institutionalized racism, which is the exact opposite of what they're trying to say it is, because all they can ever do is project how they think and how they feel onto us.
If you look at affirmative action, and when it first started, I think there may have been some merit for it, but there's a point in time where it starts to bring some segregation in, because if you're eliminating one group from being with another group, what's that called?
Segregation.
Yes, it's like you're separating. You're for that. Joe Biden, there again, you know what I think? I think Joe Biden, I don't know. I was going to say he must have been smarter in his younger years.
He might have remembered more.
Yeah, yeah. He might. remembered what he said more, because what he said yesterday isn't the same as today, because
Right.
he slept on it and
But
he forgot what he said.
You know what I like?
He should watch clips
Hey, there you go.
every day of what he said yesterday.
You ever seen that movie 50 First Dates? That's Joe Biden. But the Supreme Court's doing some big things, right? So they did some stuff this morning with overturning the what was it with the website maker, right? And
Yeah, you can now choose who your business wants to do business with.
yeah. Novel concept, right?
I used to go into restaurants. They said, "Hey, they get to they'll serve who they want to serve."
Right.
And I get it. I mean, they can't choose on racism. What they're saying is, if you come in and you're causing a problem, maybe unruly, you're not going to get food.
And what else did the Supreme Court just do? They overruled Biden's unconstitutional debt forgiveness for student loan payouts.
So that means, Mike, you don't have to pay for people that don't live in your home.
Well, I already paid for Ludavia's. So should I pay for everybody else's too? I mean, come on.
Hey, you're not paying for my kids.
No, should I?
No, they're my kids.
Right.
We made this decision together.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and they both worked hard.
But thank you, Supreme Court, for making some intelligent decisions, regardless of the fact that the president can't seem to make any.
Well, Joe Biden's already came out today and started talking about the institution of the Supreme Court and how it's not relevant. I go, just because they're not voting for things that you want, now you know how we feel. Yeah, we're in 2 years into your presidency, and it's a disaster.
Oh, it couldn't be any worse. The Bidenomics, nobody wants any more of that shit.
And we just got to say this because we got 3 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, we get Hunter was in business with Ukraine. They've got strings into the White House now, and I'm not saying we shouldn't be helping them, but I mean, we're pouring billions into Ukraine.
And how much of that is coming back into the Biden's pocket?
Well, they've estimated. I think the last one was $20 million.
Yeah. And
it was a list of people who all were connected. Our last names were Biden.
Yeah.
Even Joe's. I mean, I don't know how you can even dodge this one. Your son is a criminal, and the IRS just let him off. And Mike, if you and I did that, woohoo!
Oh, we'd be in prison.
Oh, we'd be in prison.
For the rest of our lives.
Other people are in prison for less than that.
Right.
But he's not, because he's a Biden. But I mean,
even the leftists are throwing Biden under the bus at this point.
Well, I don't know if they want him to run.
No, I mean, who does?
But who would want the alternative? Kamala?
Gavin?
Or Gavin?
Sheesh.
I mean,
nobody else in the rest of this country, save for maybe New York, would even vote for Gavin.
And so let's talk Republican right now. Hey, at least we have a choice. We don't have to vote for Trump.
No.
And if we don't vote for Trump, we've got
DeSantis
right
strong
there.
candidate.
Yes. So
but Trump's doing very good.
But I know, and I'm not saying, I'm a Trumper because I don't like the man. I wish he would say different things. I wish he wouldn't be. I wish he wasn't such a terrible human. He's done some bad things.
Yeah.
He has. He's a womanizer, but his politics were good. And if they're telling us that politicians don't have to have ethics or morality.
Tom, the country's never been in better shape than prior to the pandemic.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny because a lot of people say that DeSantis is just working in with Trump's ideas, but I think that's okay because he has a different method of bringing it about.
Right. He actually understands politics.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we're DeSantis guys, but at least we have a choice. Right. Democrats, you got to do something, and it's not Newsom or Harris or Biden.
Yeah, actually, Democrats, if you're watching this, I'd encourage you to just, when election time comes, just stay home.
No, don't. Exercise your vote, right to vote, but put your mind in your ballot. Yeah. I guess we're done.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
God bless.